Hello, dear listeners and viewers of the Dandelion Reflections. Hello, Colleen.
Hi, Christopher, and hi, Dandelions, all over the world.
Yes. Um, Colleen,
Yes,
um,
Christopher.
now we are going to try something really what we haven't
Hmm.
really done before, and um, it's a start of a series, right?
Yeah.
And we will really challenge our audience's uh, brainwaves, and yeah, it's going to be a challenge. I'm sure it is a challenge for us, that's for sure,
Yeah.
and it may be a challenge for many of our audience. So
Hmm.
what are we doing? What are we going to do? What can people
Yes.
expect?
Yeah, very good question here. I think it will be about challenging and inviting the audience and ourselves included to challenge our frameworks, right? So everything that we used to believe to be true or the truth or reality might not be as such, right? So, starting with the identity or the concept of time. So, we will explore different concepts that we use in our lives daily that we cling on to and try to expand a little bit our conceptualizations and hopefully have a dialogue and a discussion that's really enlightening. And it's really about maybe creating a sandbox, like you said also before we recorded. So, really allowing ourselves to question things and think differently.
Correct. And questioning things and not believing everything we see and hear should be something that we should habitually engage in once in a while. Not
Right.
only questioning our what politicians say, what our parents say, what our teachers say,
Hmm. Right.
but also questioning our own image of ourselves, image
Yes.
of what we perceive the world to be and the universe and so on. So in this what we think could become a series of episodes with this topic, we will invite people that we think have a much better
Mhm.
understanding of these ideas, and we'll see what that leads to. Where
Yes.
shall
Very
we
well said.
begin? I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Where shall we, yeah, yeah, no, where shall we begin? I think by introducing what's coming, having guests, for instance, in a series, it really implies that we're trying to make those frameworks connect somehow if we do agree that they have some utility, right? Because what we realize in our world right now, Christopher, is it's pretty obvious that there's too much division, too
Oh
much
yes.
categorization, and it's not the way life or the universe works, right? It's more fluid, it's more connected,
Hmm.
interconnected. But we created all kinds of artificial categories and divisions in our world right now. Even the disciplines, like the specialties, the expertises, the fields. We were talking yesterday about spirituality versus science. Okay, how we split them, but how they could actually be connecting,
Right.
at some point, right? As they're trying to find the truth in their own ways within their own
Hmm.
frameworks. So again, I think those series will allow maybe those pieces to come together and realize that, yeah, there are similarities and there's overlap. And what we're trying to do, dividing past, present, future, might not actually be helpful at all.
Right.
And
Oh wow.
and
Yeah.
yeah, so here we are, and I would love to hear whatever you want to share at this point, and whatever's on
Yeah.
your mind around all of this.
I would like to have your help here on putting some light on the idea of categorization. What
Yeah,
is it, and how does it help our brain?
right. That's a good question. Right. I think in order to understand a little bit that, we need to understand the concept of ego and deconstruct it a little bit. Fundamentally, and we know that, and we learned that as we discussed with people like Uncle Bill will be one of our guests soon, right? And people in his group that we talked about and who are also guests in this podcast. Um, the fundamentally, what is our nature, right? So we need to think about childhood days, in a sense, purity, blah blah blah, being in the moment. We're peace, compassion, and love and wisdom. That's all we are. There's a quote by Jack Pransky. I don't know if you can
Right.
quote it accurately.
All
All
we
we are
are
is
is love, peace, and what was the third one?
wisdom.
Wisdom, and the ability to um, make up that we're not, something like that.
Right, exactly. The ability to create the illusion that we are not.
Wonderful.
And
Thank
that's
you.
See, so we go from our fundamental nature, we're
Hmm.
born into this world with this, but then with the conditioning and the environment and life experiences, it shapes us to believe that we're
Hmm.
not that. It makes us believe that. So, but that's the ego. And ego is a fabrication of our mind. We could say the left brain if we want to be really conceptual here.
Mm.
It's not, of course, that cookie cutter, but there are left brain functions that will actually reinforce the ego, as opposed to the right brain functions that are usually associated with this inherent nature, such as the wisdom, the peace, the creativity, the intuition, the fluidity, right? As opposed
Hmm.
to the binary aspect, procedural aspect of the left side of the brain, which is actually the house of the ego. So we're going to talk about the ego, right? Like how it gets dysregulated, and it's also the root cause of many problems, including wars, including injustices,
Hmm.
including self-doubt, including within ourselves. We have these wars too, right?
Oh yeah.
So I think the ego is going to be probably a topic of discussion throughout these podcasts and episodes and this series, and we talked a little bit about that. We touched upon that a few times already, but yeah, the categorization. So it's a long detour to answer your question, Christopher, but this is typical of the ego to want to categorize and create hierarchies.
Hmm.
It's the function, one of the functions of the ego is to compare to, because when you compare, it means it's different, and it's if it's different, it's like it's
Hmm.
split, right? But naturally, we're not that way. We are interconnected. We are fluid. There are more similitudes or similarities than differences.
So, if we take the time machine and catapult ourselves back 40,000, 50,000 years, um, this categorization was very vital and secured our survival in when we were roaming the savannas. So we
Mm-hmm.
needed very quickly to determine, is that shadow in that grass bushel a tiger or not?
Mm-hmm.
Or
Right.
is there a threat there, or is it a threat here, or can we just go on picking berries or
Yeah.
stuff like that? So that's
Right.
at that time, this was one of the instruments that our brain uh,
Mm-hmm.
developed to, yeah, to make ourselves and to keep the um, the human breed. No, well, to keep us alive, right? And
Yes. Mm-hmm.
to
To
see
maintain
through,
integrity. Mm-hmm.
right, that, and to make sure that we will survive. But now we're not roaming any savannas any longer. We're in a pretty
Mm-hmm.
safe world,
Yeah.
relatively. And so this old function could as well, thrown overboard, but we still have it there, and we seem to have a
Mm-hmm.
really hard time getting rid of it. And what we do today now is the same thing that our brain did then. We categorize everything that's happening around us all the people that
Yeah.
are around us, family members, neighbors, colleagues, in traffic. We categorize in good or bad, political
Yeah.
views, skin color, whatever.
Mhm.
Make it up. Uh,
Yeah.
so this is a brain function that saves energy and
Mhm.
makes it make helped us make quick decisions. But we are jumping to conclusions today in today's time. We see things that aren't there. We
Mhm.
put people into a corner where they absolutely don't belong, and so on.
Mhm. Right. You described it really well, I think. And yes, it's all about the context too. When is it appropriate to actually use categories? Sometimes it is. And like you mentioned, there was a time when, yeah, we needed to know whether this shadow was actually a threat versus something benign. And also same with berries. Like, okay, is this one poisonous
Oh yeah,
versus,
right. Hmm.
how do I determine that other than like having specific categories or parameters that will guide me to make sure that I make a decision that keeps me alive and safe, right?
Hmm.
So, but the problem with that is that when we start lumping categories together, and then we no longer have nuances. So we have like people like, oh, Republicans versus Democrats. Yeah. So you're a Republican because of this, you're a Democrat because of that. Human beings can have categories or facets that belong to a little bit of both, or things that are not even in those two major political parties, whatever. Same with gender, right? We see that, like, male, female, feminine, masculine. Okay, we lumped something together. The feminine is behaving that way, dressing up that way. The masculine is behaving that way,
Hmm.
having those attitudes, etc. That is a problem. So, but like you said, it's energy saving, but we become conditioned, and then it becomes dysregulated, and then we have wars erupting all over, the world, and within ourselves too. And
Right.
that creates suffering. That creates immense suffering and destruction.
Exactly. Yes. So what we try to do, what we want to try to do here is to, as we said, question these categorizations that we all do. This is,
Mhm.
uh, I don't think any one of us can actually say we don't do it because it's an
Yeah.
automatic function.
Oh
We
yeah.
we do that.
Hmm.
But we can question ourselves by while we are doing that. Is this really correct to do? Is this the correct
Hmm.
category I'm putting this
Right.
person or circumstance in? So um, where do we start? It becoming a habit. We would love to introduce or invite our audience and ourselves to do this more often, to question and to really look at things that our brain is making up out
Hmm.
of situations and to question it, is this really true? So, in order to let go of an old habit and introduce a new habit into our lives, we
Hmm.
need to first become aware of it, right? So,
Yes.
what would be a good start there?
Yeah, I
What?
love that you said that. Yeah, is this really true? And yes, we have to be aware. I think you
Mhm.
have the key elements here. And how do we do that? That's a great question. Having some silence, actual silence around us and within us, because we have this mental noise always feeding that belief that, yes, something has to be right and wrong. There needs to be a winner and a loser.
Mhm.
And it's like the split kind of thinking continues, the black or white thinking continues. So with the noise. But if we have silence, we can actually access that inherent nature we were talking about earlier,
Mhm.
the peace, the wisdom inside of us, the calm, the acceptance, the compassion. We can finally reconnect with that calm space, when we have silence. So we need to meditate. That's no other way around it.
Oh,
Yeah.
and let me just catch you there. Um, we need to meditate. Meditation can have many different forms. You can sit down quietly, or you can meditate while you're taking a shower or cooking food or whatever. But I lost my thought. The no. Oh well. Go on. Maybe the thought will come back.
Maybe it will come back. It will find
Hmm.
its way back to you, Christopher. I
Right.
know, because
Hmm.
this is the wisdom that's in you. It never left. Okay. So anyway, yeah. So I love it because we're co-creating something together, right?
Yes.
And so yeah, the meditation, and like you said, many forms. It's not specific to one religion or one philosophy, or it meditation is simply being aware. Okay, it's
Hmm.
practicing being in the moment, being grounded, total awareness without
Oh,
judgment.
here it
Right?
is.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Thank you. And what we are doing with this invita with whatever, not participating in this race, where our brain is held in a constant race against all the whatever all our senses take up. I don't know how many tens of thousands of images and central information all of the time. Uh,
Mhm.
we're by quieting our
Right.
brain, by letting our brain relax, we are taking some power from the left brain that is
Mhm.
making up stories all the time and shifting it
Right.
over to the right brain, which is you know, the calm part of our brain that says, well, how about this? How about that? This is the right brain is, correct me if I'm wrong here, is the one that introduces new ideas and new solutions into our
Mhm.
way of thinking. Is it correct?
Yes.
So that's what we want to have. That's the
Mhm.
strong part we want to have to create new
Yes.
solutions, not doing the
Yes.
same errors over and over again.
Yes, it is expanding as opposed to the ego driven side of the brain, so to speak, would be more like self confirming all the time, seeking to confirm what they're doing. It's
Oh
like a
yeah.
confirmation bias, right? Or cherry picking. Yeah, I'm going to pick the information in the environment that will confirm that story I tell myself
Hmm.
or that I like to believe about myself, right? So the right side is more open. And in order to
Hmm.
access it, yes, meditation, yes, practicing deep breathing, self-awareness, whatever you want to call it, through connection with nature, etc., through
Hmm.
practicing silence. Yes, yes. It's more
Uh,
expensive like expa, yeah, not
uh-huh.
expe, expansive. It goes
Expansive in
with
for expansion.
expansion.
Right.
Yeah, and it is evolutive too, right? The ego
Right.
is not evolutive.
Hmm.
Ego is condensed, is rigid. Categories, remember, cookie cutters.
Right.
We put people, things, concepts, ideas, beliefs in boxes.
Hmm.
This is not life. This is not the universe. This is not the nature of life and things,
Yeah.
including us human beings.
So
We
you
see.
mentioned the ego here.
Mhm.
So the
Yeah,
ego, let me just re remind ourselves here. The ego would has this idea of who and what we are, who and what we want to
yeah,
be, and that's a very strong left brain thing, correct?
right. Yes, and it's interesting because it's like, how do we measure the ego, right? It's
Hmm.
such an illusion, Christopher, that we can't really pinpoint it. It's not palpable, but we can indirectly identify its
Hmm.
presence. We know it's there when people engage in ruminations, in self-denigration, in judgment of self or others.
Hmm.
When the person is stuck in shame, we know the ego is at work. So these are
Right.
indicators that the ego is kind of dominating the picture, that we let it, that we feed it. Okay, but it's
Right.
otherwise it's an illusion, so we can't really see it on a scan, brain scan,
Mm-hmm.
or there's no marker for it other than some human experience that's indirectly tied to it, or is that a consequence of the ego? People don't feel good when they identify with the ego. When people are stuck there, they're
Mm-hmm.
not happy. It creates division, alienation. It's not inclusive. It's exclusive. Someone has to win. Someone has to be better. Someone has to be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Someone has to be punished. The compassion that comes with our inherent nature is contrary to that.
So that
So
that were you done? I'm sorry, I didn't want to
yes,
interrupt
yes,
you.
yes. Go ahead. Mhm.
This starts very early in our lives, right? I could imagine that just the idea of, okay, parents deciding now, hello baby, your name is Colleen. And you have
Mhm.
no say in this, right? Yeah.
No?
And then it goes on. It actually
Right.
starts even when we're in the mother's womb. Um,
Yes.
and then we pick up all the values and prefabricated beliefs of our parents and the adults around us, and we record this, and it goes on and on for the rest of our lives, right? Because this is how we
Yeah.
think the world functions,
Mhm.
and if you look
Mhm.
at how different cultures solve problems in different ways. Uh, so
Yeah.
this cannot be just us, right? This is a cultural thing. This is something that we are given. This is something that we are programmed to do.
Yes, exactly. So you're right. Even pre-birth, we're
Mm.
invested with all kinds of projections from our parents, our families, the culture, etc. So we come into this world and we receive all of that. Uh, but at some point, we wake up if we want to, if we're
Hmm.
attentive, and we can
Right.
decide whether we identify with it or not. We can say,
If.
yes, this name was given to me. Uh, do I keep it? Do I change it?
Hmm.
Do I accept it? Do I de-identify with it? Yes, it's a name, but I'm also so many things. Just like religion, right?
Yes.
We are born in a religion or no religion, but in a way, it's almost a religion, right?
Hmm.
Some people are extreme atheists. It becomes a religion in itself. But what I mean by that is it's a belief system. Whether
Hmm.
you have a religious belief system or no religion, it remains a belief system. So we are born into that context. And then, yes, we learn a language and rituals and traditions, right?
Hmm.
And I see that religion is also kind of a language in a way, right? So just like we
Oh
learn
yeah.
different languages, why can't
Hmm.
we learn different religions? Why can't
Interesting.
we have them
Hmm.
talk to each other, right? So, but no, we kind of still keep that very separate. It's
Hmm.
like, and then it creates again wars and divisions anyway. But the languages, I think we should see that as a language. Maybe that would be more appealing to us to learn about
Hmm.
different religions. I had this thought this morning because I had a discussion
Oh,
with my student about that,
I love it.
their
Yeah, it's a
topic,
very
religion.
interesting topic there. Wow.
Yes, right.
Hmm.
So, but it's one dimension among many, right? So,
Hmm.
how can we either put them together and see them for what they are, but also limited
Hmm.
because they're frameworks, therefore they're limited. But at the same time, not identify with one in particular, because some people
Hmm.
might identify too much with like either their profession, the professional identity. So, but what happens if they lose their job? They're nothing then? No, we're still ourselves.
Yes.
Same with
Right.
religion. Oh, someone threatens your religion, doesn't like it, then you feel threatened? Well, it's
Hmm.
because you've identified with it. You're not your religion. You're more than that. Or someone attacks your name, or someone judges you
Hmm.
for the language you speak, or the way you speak, or your education level, or your income. You see, the categories are unlimited. But the problem is to identify with that. So the problem is not being born into something, some context, it's identifying with it to the point that we equate our value with that specific category.
Right.
And once it's gone, then we think we're nothing. No, we were there before, we're still there after.
Right.
So no matter what happens to me, if I were to lose my job, if I were to decide I'm no longer practicing medicine anymore because it's just corporatized and it's against my
Hmm.
value, I would not think less of myself. I would still see myself as a healer fundamentally. It would just take a different form. And
Exactly.
even that isn't
Wonderful.
an identity. But anyway, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Great. I love it. So, okay. So the ego is made up. Can
Yes.
is that something that would hold in court, so to say?
Wow. Yeah, you see the court system. That's another example of the
Hmm.
ego. It's ego on a large scale. It's
Hmm.
the way we enact the ego in our societies. Yeah, there's a right side, a wrong side. The two sides are battling. This is the ego taken to the extreme. It's
Hmm.
like this is the yeah, I would say the perfect illustration of ego.
Hmm.
And yes,
Categorizing.
categorizing exactly, and linearity and cause and effect. And we'll talk about that probably in other episodes. But
Hmm.
it's not multidimensional. It doesn't allow nuances.
But
And
as you say that, it makes so the juridical system is maybe a very good example for how our brain's ecosystem
yeah,
works because it categorizes to make things easy, to make it easy to govern a country with
hmm,
many different ideas and philosophies and ethnics and whatever. It and that's what our brain does too. It makes we categorize in order to be able to function more efficiently. But
yes,
does it do good? I don't know.
hmm,
It depends, right?
yeah. And the problem with the categories is it fragments reality
Hmm.
and fragments. But there comes a time when you can no longer cut in smaller pieces. It's just
Right,
endless, right?
right.
But it's just it fragments. There's no longer a continuity, a fluidity, a cohesiveness,
Mm,
and it's no longer functional. Think about, you have a puzzle or a picture and you have all these pieces scattered everywhere. You don't see the picture anymore. How is that helping you? But putting them back together, they connect. Then there's a whole, there's an image, a landscape, right? We can do something with it. But all the
right,
pieces scattered, but that's what the ego is doing. It's fragmenting.
right. So that's a fragment. Actually, I think it's this is a good time to step one step or
Hmm.
to zoom out one step, and that is
Yeah.
uh, the political borders around what we call countries.
Oh, yeah.
Another fragmentation, right, of our world.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes, yes. Hmm.
and so what, some
Hmm.
politicians or kings or
Yeah,
whatever had
yeah,
sat down many years ago and decided, okay, now you are a
yeah,
German and you are a French and you are
yeah,
a Swiss, and they just
yeah,
took a ruler
right.
and drew lines on a map and decided, okay, this is how it is. And this reminds me of that we were given a name after birth. Now somebody
Mhm.
else decided you have this ethnicity or you have this uh,
Right.
citizenship, uh,
Yes.
and now all of a sudden we need to
Hmm.
go along with these rules that someone else put upon us.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hmm.
yes, it can work. Yes, it makes a society uh, function better. It keeps us, you know, going on the right side of the street while we're driving a car instead of crashing into the oncoming traffic all the time. Uh,
Yeah.
yes, uh, but still, I think this could also be one of the parts, you know, where people drift off into um,
Mhm.
No, unhealthy. No, damn. I'm sorry. Um, that they're not feeling good any longer. That they're feeling not you, not.
Mhm.
My brain is
Relevant
not
or
working.
worthy or
You need to step in. Something is not really
yes.
functioning.
What I think what you're trying to say is, okay, this is all arbitrary, right? Those lines, those borders, those
Hmm.
categories, the nationality and this and that. And yes, to a degree, it allows some smooth functioning of life, but sometimes it's taken to the extreme and people lose perspective about its
Yes,
utility.
wonderful. Hmm.
People get too attached to this, no, this is my country, this is that, this is, and then it doesn't make us open-minded to like things that don't really fit in any category or situation that we had predicted. Like the brain doesn't tolerate ambiguity. So, but if we could start seeing ourselves as citizens of the world, then of course we would welcome refugees. We would, um, but no, some people get really stuck with the categories and cling
Mm.
onto them and
It
internalize
can
them.
it can help people feel safe, right? When they feel themselves, I don't know, I'm a Christian or I am
Mhm.
I am a Muslim, or it can help people feel safe in a group that they feel
Mhm.
at home, or this is my part, this is my family, this is my country. It
Yeah.
can be positive.
Right. Yes. I mean, religion, the Desmond Morris, who wrote The Naked Ape, it's a good book. It's very
Mm,
interesting. Ethological perspective on human behaviors. He says that religions were developed to create a sense of community and cohesion, between people. So that's a
mhm.
positive, right? But when does that become an excuse to attack or divide?
No.
We have to keep that in mind. But whenever we feel like, okay, I'm going to get the sense of belonging out of that, that's fine. But also, yeah, being mindful of like also the destructive effect potentially of over identifying with the religion. It's like, okay,
Hmm.
the sense of belonging, you can get it anywhere else. It's just
Right.
the world of form, right? The specific
Mm-hmm.
religion is the world of form. And that's the ego. The ego is really tied to the world of form.
I see. Mm.
So we have to go beyond that, to connect with our humanness and
Mm.
the
And
truth
you
of
see,
life.
humanness, very good that you mentioned this because you can't use any religion as an excuse to be, just an a-hole. You
Right.
you
Yeah.
should always strive for becoming a better person
Yeah.
today than you were yesterday, and that
Yeah.
is so disconnected from any or even connected to any religion because most I think most if not all religions say
Mhm.
that we should love each other and be nice to
Mhm.
each other
Yeah.
and to keep be nice to animals and nature and
Yeah.
they basically say the same thing, I would say.
Yes. Be kind. And being kind, it's not a word, right? It's not just a word. And I feel like
Hmm.
sometimes people hide behind religion saying, well, the religion says we need to be good people, therefore I'm religious, therefore I'm good. That's not
Hmm.
true. It's like we can never take that for granted. Not because you were once kind or good or whatever, or part of this religion that claims to be good means that you will be that forever. We all have the potential to be unkind, right? So what we
Hmm.
need to see is not kindness as a character trait, but
Hmm.
as a value. And what is a value? It's something we need to reconnect with all the time. We need to live intentionally with that kindness. So the religion is not a guarantee that you will be this or that. It's just creating another storyline. I am this religion, therefore I'm this. It's like
Hmm.
another layer to the ego. It's like, no, again, this is the world of form. What are the
Right.
fundamentals that we want to embody?
Right.
Yes, kindness. Yes, fairness. Yes,
Hmm.
compassion, acceptance. But we need to realize that there's a risk of us not being that when we're seduced by the ego, by the
Hmm.
power it has or it think it has. So, like you said earlier, self-awareness, just being aware, just keeping ourselves in check.
Hmm.
And it's not about self-flagellating. Oh my gosh, I succumb to the ego. It's like, that's my ego talking now. It's okay.
Hmm.
I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to believe it. It's all about awareness. This is our biggest, I think, strength is the awareness, because it will bring
Hmm.
us back in the right direction.
And one of the most often used questions should be, I don't know if we mentioned that before, but is this really true? This should be a standard question, both to
Yeah.
ourselves and to others.
Mhm.
What we watch on TV, what we read in the media about anything, is this really
Yeah.
true? Uh,
Yes.
right. So were you going to say something? I didn't want to interrupt you.
Just about the what you're saying, is this really true? Another trap creating created by the ego is sometimes we don't want to admit that
Mm,
we believe the lie.
right.
And that's huge in our world, right? We see what's happening right now. Some people prefer to stay in a group that was delusional
Hmm.
to save their face. They don't want to admit that they believed somebody who lied or
And that's
somebody
hurt.
who
That
was.
hurts, right? And we try to avoid
Yeah,
hurt.
but we're just creating more ego there. It's we
Hmm.
just need to realize that no, we're freeing ourselves from the ego when we actually acknowledge that we believe the lie.
Hmm.
It's okay. We're humans, right? So
Right.
what matters is to become awake and aware. And in
Hmm.
order to do that is to let go of these lies and say, no, no longer. I'm letting in the truth now.
Right.
I am letting in the truth and the nuances. And I don't want to be binary like black, white, yes, no fashion. It's okay. Now I'm accepting that, yeah, at that point in time, I believe this or that. Now I no longer
Hmm.
believe it because it's just not aligned with my truth. But we have to always, yeah, stay aware and open-minded and realize that, yeah, our beliefs are not us. If we
Hmm.
believe something that was wrong, it doesn't mean we're bad.
Exactly.
That's what
This
I
is
like
a
to say.
perfect, another perfect bridge to the next zooming out stage of this. And
Yes.
religion plays in there. Remember,
Mhm.
no, you don't because you weren't born then, but for some thousands, not thousands, but many hundred years ago, there
Mhm.
was this guy called Galileo Galilei who questioned the idea that was um, held up by the leading
Mhm.
scientists at that time who happened to have close relations to the Catholic Church at that
Mhm.
time.
Mhm.
Interesting, the members of the church, the clerics, were the ones that were allowed to learn to read and write, correct?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so the others were just held away from information, and most of them that were men. That's just a side note here.
Yeah.
So
Patriarchy.
right. So the idea then was that the the sun, our sun, revolved
Mhm.
around the earth, right? And
Mhm.
then he said, no, this is not true. I have made my and he was threatened
Yeah.
with death penalty, right? He was threatened with death to and he I think if my historical knowledge doesn't fail me right now, which is that's a big possibility there. So it he took it back, I think, because he wanted to live.
Okay.
Or I think it was him. Well, if anyone in our audience can fill me in there. Well, however, so there's this belief, right? Now it
Yeah.
finally comes the point where that I wanted to get to. We have this belief that the
Mhm.
the Earth is the center of everything, and the sun is revolving around it. And then we had this idea that the Earth was flat. Some believe it
Mm-hmm.
to this day,
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
so this and someone challenged these beliefs, and
Mm-hmm.
this is wonderful. This is powerful, and
Yes.
in times where we did not have the science and methods that we have today, where we did not have fast moving information like we have today, uh, this was a really hard thing to do and to challenge these
Mhm.
beliefs. And as we see, people have died for it, or were at
Yes.
least being threatened to die.
Yes. It takes a lot of courage to go against mainstream or having a novel idea that will threaten the order in place. And but it's important to do because otherwise we evolve in some kind of echo chamber. We're just
Hmm.
doing more of the same without questioning. But this is not how we evolve, right? So again, we're expanding. We need to realize that this is not all there is, and we have a limited perspective at any given moment. And it just every time I hope that it gets us closer and closer to the truth and
Hmm.
enlightenment. But we have to realize that life is not static, and we are always limited in our perspective. And it's important to let in new information and be open minded. Yes, and not identify with a rigid state of
Hmm.
being and
And
of belief.
at that time, people had a very limited view of what's happening around us, and a very limited knowledge about, what solar system was, what
Hmm.
the stars was, what certain
Yeah.
phenomena were, and so of course they tried to understand it, and they did as best as they could at that time,
Yeah.
making up stories. Or was it our brain, our left brain, that made up these stories to
Mhm.
make it sound
Yeah.
that, yeah, that okay, I understand this. So we can find this in many religious books
Right.
where we see, okay, this is what people made out of that, as good as they could at that time. Now with science having uh, having had so many
Hmm.
such a huge development, we understand better.
Yeah.
So then, of course, this puts a whole different light on it. So we can easily question and safely question some beliefs that we had for many hundred years, and actually debunk them. This is not true
Right.
anymore. But how?
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But now
Yes.
let's put it in the future. Like in
Hmm.
100 or 1,000 years, what will people think with the
Hmm.
information they have then about our belief today? We think, okay, we know it. We won't know most things. Okay, we think we understand how nature on Earth functions. What is under the sea level, like I don't know, 30,000 feet down there, and we think
Hmm.
this is it makes all sense, but we actually don't know anything. We don't even know what's the
Yeah.
the core of the earth, what's happening there. We will, I don't know. We will never know in our lifetimes. That's for sure. So how can we now think we understand the universe? What is universe? So when I was
Hmm.
in school, we had this Big Bang theory, and today the Big Bang theory is out of the window, if I read it correctly. Uh, so all these things, these belief systems, are built up and uh,
Yeah.
put into damage into the trash can, and
Mhm.
well, as evolves our understanding of ourselves,
Mhm.
our beliefs about ourselves and about others and about society and about the world and about the universe, on and on.
Yes, and I like when you say let's zoom out here because it's all about zooming out. We're often too close to the tree. We don't see the forest. And I feel like we restrict our understanding to just one dimension, but we need to constantly add new information and integrate that and take that into account. So yeah, it's inevitable. We are broadening on our understanding. And yeah, currently we have a way to cure a specific disease. That's the current state of knowledge, but it doesn't mean that in 50 years from now, it's going to be used the same way. We know
Hmm.
there's also a pendulum in medicine, right? Yeah, give this to that kind of person who has that illness, and then but like 10 years later, no, the study is literature says completely different things, and
Hmm.
we see that all the time. So I feel like it's just really accepting and being having humility in and knowing that we are operating under what we know, but we have to realize that it might not be the actual end of it. And just
Hmm.
like consciousness and nature, life is intelligent, right? Why would we create a hierarchy like these species are less intelligent or less conscious or not conscious at all? We know that trees, for instance, might have a consciousness. They're connecting
Yeah.
together through roots. And we didn't know that
Hmm.
until recently, right? So, and then what is it that we're going to be aware of in 100 years from now?
Hmm.
So, yeah, so this is always evolving, and this is not all there is, and we don't know the full truth and at any given moment. So that's why it's important to not identify with a specific belief or knowledge. The best
Exactly.
tool will be to have in wisdom in us that allows us to receive whatever we see as life is unfolding.
Wonderful. And as a as a closing point, and so to say, even a teaser for our
Yeah.
next uh, episodes, I would like to zoom in and question our ego again.
Yes,
Zoom
we
in
will do
into
that.
the ego because that's where everything starts.
Yeah.
What
Yes.
the belief of who am I, what am I, as we have outlined, it
Hmm.
is all subject to change all the time. And
Yeah.
what is true today for us, our personal truth, doesn't need to be true tomorrow.
Hmm.
So as
Yeah.
long as we keep
Mhm.
being open and questioning even what our brain is trying to tell us, what our left brain is trying to make up for stories, who we think we are, who we want to be, who we want others to be, or
Yeah.
all these, just
Hmm.
questioning this as a standard procedure can be so
Yes.
wow.
Yes. I like that. Hmm. Self-inquiry. And we will touch upon that, I'm sure, with our examples, but like not letting go of the need to identify with beliefs, and also letting go of the need to have people being a certain way, because I think
Right.
that's kind of an extension of this phenomenon of identification with ego, is when we feel uncomfortable by others being different or daring to be themselves. That's also another sign that the ego is at play.
Hmm.
So it's just kind of a projection of the insecurity. So yeah, you will be okay, whoever is insecure about letting go right now,
Hmm.
that you're not going to disintegrate if you let go of a certain belief system. It's like you
Right.
are not that belief. So yeah, but it's a process. So yeah, like you said, questioning with curiosity,
Right.
without expectations.
And be prepared that your left brain will fight back because
Yes,
it's
that's what
going
it
to
does.
lose some ground, and that's okay. As long as
Yeah,
you continue strengthening your right brain hemisphere and the creativity in yourself, uh,
yeah.
then I think you're on a good way.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
That's a
Colleen.
great chat. Thank you, Christopher. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
I hope your brain is still there where it is because it is challenging to think in these ways, but it this challenge can be very, very rewarding. It usually is. I, for my
Mhm.
part, have experienced this. It's opened up for completely new experiences, wonderful experiences, so rewarding. It is definitely worth it.
Yes, it helps access resilience and live life to the fullest.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone, for being with us today, and be prepared for what's coming up.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.